Welcome, 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 my lovelies. Welcome back to a sunny morning in the UK. For a change, we've had several days of heavy rain, and the boys have been, Nigel and Georgie have been indoors all the time, and they are now outside in the garden, terrorising each other. Well, Georgie's terrorising Nigel. Poor thing. They're chasing around the garden. Welcome, my lovelies, to my next video, which is the Art Deco house. Yay! That's my favourite house of all time at present. So today is going to be a bit of a an experiment, what I'm doing, because I haven't done this before, but I'm going to work on the, let me get them, they're here. I'm going to work on the planters as promised, and I'm going to put some form of plants in, or greenery, some flowers and what have you. So yes, we're going to build up something. I don't know how it's going to come together, but like the way plants grow, it's going to be very organically put together, how plants would be. And then we'll just see what we see at the end. Hopefully it will be something pleasant to look at. So yes, so that's what I'm going to do in this video. I won't be able to finish the entire scene because I've got other plants that I haven't made, but they're taking quite a while to do. So what I will be doing is the stencils that I said in a previous video I had ordered, because I wanted to try polymer clay plants. Cheers by the way. I've told you before, stop calling me by the way. So yes, so what I'm going to do, in fact what I'm going to do first of all, let me grab this, is these planters. I also want there's one in the corner here, this one here. I also want a very small planter to go against the walls of the sun house, the beach house at the top of the roof, in the roof garden. So I'm going to make another planter here. I'm going to do it a slightly, not slightly, I'm going to do it a different design, but still something that goes with the Art Deco theme. I think it does anyway, or when it's put together it will, hopefully. And then I'm going to put a climbing plant in there, which I haven't made, but I think it would look nice. So actually what we'll do is I will move the camera down, and we'll get on with this first of all. But I will go into, I'll show you roughly what I'm doing with the stenciled plants. I'm not an authority on them. I haven't done them before. So this isn't a video of how to do. It's a video of how I did. And we'll like or we won't like, or there'll be something in between. But it's my garden, my roof garden, so whatever comes out, I'll be happy with it. Also, a few of you did or a couple of you did mention, when I said I was going to do stenciled plants, you wanted to mention you can do it with, you can make plants with masking tape with wire inside. You can use aluminium or aluminum. How do you say it across the pond? Aluminum. Thank you. My brain just didn't know how to pronounce words then. Thank you for that help. Bless you. Yes, I've used aluminum or aluminium. I've used masking tape. I did use something else in another video, and I can't remember what I used to make plants, but I know you can use all different things, and I have done in previous videos. But this was purely, I purposely ordered stencils, miniature stencils, to do plants and leaves and things. I have got a couple of flower stencils that I've bought, but they look really complicated, so I'm not doing them on this video. Eventually one day I will get around to trying them and seeing if they work. If they do, then obviously that will go into a future video. But the slightly easier ones that I've bought, I've chosen a few of those, and we'll do those on the video, so you can see how I get on with doing polymer clay plants. But I purposely wanted to do polymer clay. That was a choice. So, and like I said, I know you can use lots of other things, and I have done on previous videos. But this time it'll be a polymer clay challenge. I'm looking over here because of the ones that I've sort of done already, which you will see. But first of all, let me move the camera down to a better position here, so you can see what I'm doing with this planter first of all. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is carry on with this little planter that I've made here. I haven't put a base in it, it's hollow at the moment, but that will become apparent in a minute. There will be something going in there, but I'm just going to paint down. It doesn't really matter how far, it's just enough to cover the top area, and then I shall leave that to dry, and then I'll show you what I've done with the other planters so far. I could have used a bigger brush there, it would have been a bit quicker, but dollhousing is, for me, mostly about relaxation and just letting the day go by, playing and enjoying. While I'm thinking, while I'm remembering, I was answering lots of YouTube comments this morning at breakfast, as I always do on every breakfast after I've done a video. And one lady, I can't remember her name, a Spanish lady. I'm guessing you very cleverly, as most people do, speak English, and I very badly speak your language. Although Spanish is a language I know better than any other language that's foreign to me, because I studied it for a little while. But don't ask me to have a conversation with you. But the lady, I think your name was Rachel, I think. Hola Rachel, ¿cómo estás? You did say about the Christmas house that JB did, and you said it was very beautiful, but you asked, but where is the bathroom? I did reply, but just to other people that might have thought the same thing, there was no bathroom. ¿Dónde está el baño, por favor? Like I say to a lot of people, don't get hung up about like the rooms that you have in a dollhouse. You only have so many rooms unless you make more rooms, but you still then have a set amount of rooms. If you want, you have a list then of rooms that you want to decorate, a bathroom or a lounge, a kitchen, you want a bedroom, you might want 2 bedrooms. You make up in your mind the rooms that you want. If there's not enough rooms to do everything that's not and it's not on the list, then just leave that room out. Like, a house doesn't have to have bedrooms in if you don't want. You could have a massive big bathroom. I suppose you would really have to have a bedroom, but in the dollhouse world you don't. If you just wanted a kitchen in one room, a living room in another, a study in one room and no bathroom, no bedroom, that's up to you. So like I say, unless you're a purist that when you do houses you're forced to make everything as real as possible, so you would have to have a bathroom come what may, in which case you'd have to have a house that has enough rooms to accommodate that. But if you're not, and you just want to enjoy and have fun and relax, then you choose what you want to go into each room. If it doesn't have a kitchen, it doesn't matter. Just do lounges, bedrooms, bathrooms, studies, an attic room, whatever. You don't have to have a kitchen. It's not real life. It's the miniature world, and in the miniature world, as I said one day a long time ago, it just came into my head. and I quite like my little saying now, there are no Doll's House police, so that's nothing to worry about. You're not going to get arrested because you don't have a certain room in your house. There we are. So it's just to enjoy. Just know that you can enjoy, and don't get worked up or don't get harassed because you don't have enough rooms to do everything that you think should be in it. Just do what you want. It's your house. Right, I shall put that in water. I shall let that dry, and then I will come to this. Right, now this the metal part here that's going to go around the planter. I'm going to glue it around the base of the planter just to give a design. It will go with the rest of the house, so that's fine. But what I have here is a strip of it's quite thick. It's not baking foil, it's industrial baking foil, or industrial aluminium or aluminum. So it's I actually did this a while ago and I can't remember, is the rest of it in here? Did I put it back here? Yes, there we are. So it's 36 GA, so it might be 36 gauge, I'm not sure. I'm guessing that may be the size of it, and it's 12 inches long. But if I open it up and show you, there, so you can see when I open it up, you can see that it's quite substantial, so it's a lot thicker. I'm being careful because it's metal, and obviously you would be able to cut yourself on that quite easily, but it's a lot thicker than what you would use for putting over the turkey for baking, or whatever, or roasting. So it's a nice thick one. So once you've got the size that you want, let me just roll this up because I don't like this, because it just always worries me touching this, because I think it'd be so easy to cut yourself. And I know somebody's saying you should use gloves when you're using it, but I can't then feel what I'm doing when I'm working a lot of the time, so I wouldn't be able to use gloves, sadly. Right, put that over there. So once you've got your strip like so, then I use a metal tube squeezer, which is meant to be for squeezing tubes that you can't squeeze the stuff out yourself, whatever it is, toothpaste, tomato ketchup, whatever you have in tubes. There we are, I'll show you. So all you do is, if you wanted it for tubes of stuff, you would just put the end of the tube in here, and then close it like so it's holding it, and then you would turn it one way clockwise if you're looking at the thing, and that drags the tube through this and squeezes whatever it is up to the end. So that's what it's that's what it's sold as. But if you put pieces of very thick aluminium or aluminum in there like so and turn it, then it makes it like so. This is good if you use it whatever width you want, or cut it in sections, and you can use it and then paint that to distress it, and you could use that for aluminium roofs over porches or different parts of roofing. It would be very good. At some point I'll use this and put it over something on a roof to make it look like the metal corrugated roofing. You could put it on like that, and then another layer like you would do with bricks, so it looks like sections coming down. So that would be very good for that. If somebody's done that, do let me know, and let me know what you thought it was like, if you like the effect. Oops, put that round there. I like to keep things in their boxes and neat if I can, and then I know where they are and I don't lose them. So now I've got that, I'm just going to place this around and get the Actually, I can hear Nigel trying to get in the door. Let me open it for him. Actually, it was Georgie wanting to come in. He doesn't usually try and pull the door. He must have been watching Nigel and learnt it off him. Right, so I'm just carefully placing this round. Put it down on the worktop so it goes down to the base. And then, sorry my hands are in the way, but I'm basically just putting this foil around the edge there. And then I'll just hold that, let it dry. Obviously don't squash it, otherwise it's easy to make it flat again. But I'll just hold that, let it dry, and then we're done. Okay, so there we have it. So it will sit like that. So just got a nice metal design around the base there, corrugated. There is the join. So I've just, where the corrugations come, I've just cut it so that one goes over the other. You can't really see it properly, but that will sit at the back of the house anyway. But that joins it up. Next, I'm going to get a bit of this dense foam that I use for carving brickwork and different things, making fake stone walls and stuff. I've just cut that to size, and I'm going to push it down. Maybe I'm not. Oh yes you are. There, so that doesn't actually need gluing, but I might just put a bit of PVA around there to hold it, although it is quite solid now. But that's just glued in, and it's sort of about halfway down, and then I'm going to put some fake earth in there. Now I've done the same with these as well. If I show you, if I move this up a bit, there we are. Okay, there. So with these as well, I've put the foam in. I have cut some bits of balsa wood underneath there because they're quite deep, and I don't want to fill them with earth and stuff, or fake soil as we call it. So I've just cut shapes there, filled it in with balsa wood, and I've just put PVA around the edge, and just let it set so it dries. And I've done that with each piece like so. And then I've just cut bits of this foam. As you can see, I've sort of Frankensteined it together just to make it all filled in. Doesn't matter how, because it's going to be covered anyway. And then I'll mix up some PVA and fake soil. Let me get that actually. Now, St. Valentine's Day has just passed, and it was quite handy because JB and me celebrated St. Valentine's Day in the evening we splashed out and treated ourselves to a nice Chinese takeaway, which was quite handy because we had a couple of soups to start with, and they came in these containers which we can now use to put things in. Hurrah! So obviously you would wash these out and make sure the smell has gone. No smell, not even plastic smell, which is good. And I'm just going to mix up a little bit of soil or earth or whatever we want to call it. Pretend. So this is a bag of this is railway soil. There it is on there. I just got that at a car boot sale during the summer, along with some other bits and pieces. So it's just a fine brown mix. So it just looks like soil. But if you want, you can use tea bags, which we drink a lot of tea. There's no smell to them whatsoever, but that is just tea bags. Obviously not with if there's milk used in the tea bag, so we take the tea bags out before we put our milk in. So it's just been water. Open them up, let them dry, and it looks it's a slightly different colour, so I will mix the two together, which is great. It makes it more sort of organic looking, but this works perfectly, and you don't have to buy it. Well, you don't have to buy it purposely to make soil out of it. I don't know before the tea bags are used. I don't know if they look quite like this. I'm not sure. They might break down when you actually make tea, but whatever, they work great. So I shall just pile some of this in. I will put some of this in, why not? Let's mix it up. And I'm just going to mix and put stuff in, and if I need more, I'll mix up more. If I don't, then I will throw away what I don't want. Let me put those over there. Hello, Georgie. Oh, I did say earlier that Georgie came in. Let me just show you if I can pick this up carefully. Georgie. There. He's actually in the Parisian haberdashery kitchen, or the basement. Right, there we are. Let's move you back here, folks. Okay. So that's fine. We'll mix that up, and then I'm going to use. Let me just dry this off. That there to reuse, and we'll use a little drop of water. I'll do it over here in case I pour it over me, and PVA is on the other side of the workshop, so let me go and get some PVA. So I have just mixed up, it's just an oogie mess. Just mix it by eye. There's no special measurements. I've put sort of equal amounts PVA and water, roughly, just poured in, and a load of soil, and just mushed it all together. And then you can see if it's too dry or if it's too wet. With lots of liquid, then add a bit more soil. Just use your own discretion. And then I shall just get these and just put it in lumps. Let's just tip some in and then just push it or mush it around, whichever way you want to do it. And this, because this is glue as well, this will dry solid, which will in turn help keep everything in place. And once it's dry, I can still stick wires in for the plants and different things that I'm going to put in there. I'm looking forward to seeing how some of the leaves turn out. So we're just doing that. I will carry on doing this until I've got all three planters filled with earth. It doesn't have to be flat because earth isn't. When we look around the garden, the earth is all lumps and bumps. So, and then if the planting covers it up, it doesn't matter. But if any of the earth does show and you don't have too much planting in, then it will still look good. So do that so it looks aesthetically pleasing to you, not to anyone else. Remember, when you're doing your houses, because some people, when they chat to me, sometimes I can tell that they're a bit worried or concerned that it's not going to look right. Don't ever feel like that. Like I keep saying, keep it in your mind. It is literally your house. You can do what on earth you want to do with it. Well, I laughed. It wasn't planned, but there you go. And I was just going to clear off around the edge there to make it nice and clean. But when I look in our garden with our planters that are built up like this, they're not clean around the top. They've got bits and pieces of earth here and there. So there we are. Let's stick a few bits round here. and let that dry. So that is all adding to it becoming more natural looking. There we are. So I mean, when you see it like that now, it looks like it's been a planter filled with earth. So I shall carry on, fill these, and then we'll get on to the plants. Yay! We have two boys in here today. There's Georgie, or the back of them, that is, and Nigel, sitting on all my greenery and plant stuff. Okay, now we have the earth in the planters. I think you'll agree, or should agree, that looks like earth. As I said, I don't know how much or how little of it's going to be showing when I'm finished, because I'm just going to build things up organically, so no plan here. Well, actually I have one plan for this this small unit. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to do it anyway. Never done it before. We're going to do it anyway and just see how it works out. If it doesn't work out or it doesn't look great, it's okay, because it's my dollhouse, and I'll just keep it anyway, because I'll love it when it's finished. I'll have to. I'd feel sorry for it if it didn't turn out nicely. Anyway, as far as these other planters go, let's make some plants. So I'll get stuff here ready, get it out what I've been doing, and just show you the technique that I've been using. Okay, now for the stencils, to make stencil polymer clay plants. I'll show you what I did do. First of all was to order the stencils online. There's a whole range you can get. There's either flowers or plants, and I got a mixture of the two. I got a coleus and a croton, whatever that is. That's that plant there, and there's the stencils for it. I got leaves. You can get 3 different shapes of leaves, which I'll use one of the leaves just to show you what I'm doing, because I need quite a lot of these. A lot of these leaves, and you can get ferns as well. You can get 3 different sizes of ferns altogether. So I'll put these here. Actually, I'll show you just quickly. With the fern leaves, these are the stencils. There's I said there was 3 different sizes of these. This is the large one, and it says it's got it written there, fern leaf L for size L, and you get 2 of these, and they're both opposites. So if I show you, I don't know if you can see this one. When you put what you do is you put these onto with the writing the right way up, and you put the polymer clay across, and then you take this off, and you're left with whatever the holes are made of. So whatever shape the holes are, that's the shape you get left. Sometimes it's tidy, sometimes it's messy, sometimes you scrape it off and do it again, sometimes you leave it because you can't believe how good it is. That only happened a couple of times. So what you do, it doesn't matter which one you start off with here, but for the fern leaf, if I show you, I don't know if you can see it, but this is basically the center of the leaf. Well, not basically, it is the center of the leaf. But at one end there is a tiny little arrow shape. When I point at it, you can't see it, but a tiny little arrow at the top there. So when you've put this on right way up, as I said, so you can read the writing when it's on the slab. This is a terracotta tile used for building in the building trade. It's not a roof tile. They have 2 holes at the top for our roof tiles. This is when they're building walls, and it's a line of this that goes in, I think, the top area of the wall before the last layer goes on. I can't remember the name of them. Who knows? Who cares? In this case, we're not building with them, but I think they were in a reclamation yard, our local one. I think they were £1 so I bought 4 of these, cheap as chips, as we say in the UK. So when you put that on and you scrape the polymer clay on and lift it off, and you do however many you can get on your tile, work away from the first one that you're doing, so that your hand isn't going over, or your arm isn't going over ones you've already done, working your way up, because you'll smudge them. So that's just common sense. I shouldn't have to say that. But someone will do it. But anyway, once you've done that and you take it off, you see the tiny little arrow. Actually, I don't know if that shows up while it's on that dark. There we are. So when you take it off, the wet polymer clay, you can see that tiny arrow. Then you have to put it in the oven, the half leaf, at 120 centigrade. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, because we don't work in Fahrenheit in the UK, but whatever 120 centigrade is in Fahrenheit, if that's what you use. And the first lot, just to get them hard enough, I bake them for 20 minutes and then take them out. If they're underbaked, which that would be if it was just left, then when they're dry they can crumble and they're quite brittle and they can break. If you bake them for the full length of time, which is they tell you on the Fimo clays and the other clays, half an hour, 30 minutes. So when you put the second one on, then you bake the whole thing for half an hour, and then the whole leaf is baked properly. But when you place the second leaf on, you turn your tile around and you've got your half leaves like so. And then you turn the tile around to work this way, and when you put this one on, you just line the arrow up. I'll do it down here. You just line the arrow up on that stencil with the other stencil. So both at the top there, you've got a tiny arrow, and that gives you where it's to be placed, and that just joins up really. So if I can hold it like that there, hopefully with the light coming through you can see a whole leaf now, because it's in line and the little arrow is on top of each other there. So once you've done the second layer, then you bake the whole thing for half an hour. I'll show you, I've done the fern leaves, so I'll show you those at the end. Hopefully they'll be in an arrangement in one of these planters. On the second lot, when you're on the last stage, you can cut your wires. I'm using a florist wire. You can get them in straight lengths of about 30 centimeters, a whole bunch of them, or you can do what I did and go on Amazon and buy a pack of 2. They're 50 meters each, and they were quite cheap. I don't know, £4, £5 for the whole lot. And this is exactly the same green florist wire, but it's on a reel. So you get a whole lot more. You can't even see it. You get a whole lot more. There we are. To your money than buying the straight lengths, which is where I got them in a florist shop to start with. And they were quite expensive. And I thought, what a con. I'll buy a whole reel of it. The brown one, or the bronzy coloured one, now I've got this out. I may use that for the small planter that I said I'm going to put something in. I may need sort of brown stems for that, now I'm thinking about it, which is the first time I've actually realised I may use that, or may not, we'll see. But the green one, yes. So you can break lengths off, just, I don't know, about that long, depending on the plant and how it's going to stand up, or if it's going straight down into the ground, you don't want it very long. So you just make them the length that you think you want to make them. Trial and error, I would say, which is exactly what I'm doing here. So you'll cut each length, and then you can squash it into the wet clay, leave them, bake them, and when you take them out, the wires are already in. Or you can glue them on afterwards, or you can do what I'm going to do with the maple leaves, which, yes, I shall do that and show you as we go along instead of telling you first. So let me lay that there. I bought I've got a few here. I bought 3 or 4 ceramic tiles, just white ones. They're matte coloured, not shiny. You can make your stencils on a matte ceramic tile, and the top of the leaves, when you take them off and look onto the front of them, they are very, very, very smooth indeed, which is great for a lot of plants. That's what you want. Or you can make them on the terracotta tile, which is very slightly textured, only very slightly, so it just makes a very slight difference between the leaves depending on which one you do it on. But the white tiles I'm using to mix my colours on, because it's like a white palette, which is what I used to use when I did a lot of painting, because it gives you the true colour when you're mixing colours. Polymer clays. I bought a whole range of different colours, but that's the soft Fimo clay. It says soft on there. Different colours, and I was in Hobbycraft when I bought these, Hobbycraft store, so I bought their own range as well, which was cheaper for the same size, and they bake at the same temperature and for the same amount of time, and I can tell you now that you can mix brands of polymer clays, because I am, and they're coming out perfectly. So you don't have to stick with one make, which is really handy. So you might like colours, the colour range of certain colours in Fimo, but then whatever other polymer clay you're buying, you might like shades of that instead of the ones, the equal ones in Fimo. So you just pick out the colours you want rather than the brand, and then you've got the colours that you want. For these maple leaves I'm going to do, so these are the stencils for the maple leaf, and I want them autumny colour. I don't want them green, just because it will look more interesting. And also, now I've said that, I'm going to do these maple leaves in an autumny colour. So some will be green, some will be a more orangey colour, a burnt orange, some will be half and half. They're going to be very, very, very organic looking, hopefully, when they're finished. Hopefully you're pleased with them when I'm done with them. But now I've said that, anyone that's watching, I'm also going to make other plants, other things that may or may not be out growing when maple leaves are turning orange. That does not matter. Don't get hung up about it. So I know some people sometimes are very concerned, I couldn't put this plant out at the same time because that wouldn't be in flower when this one is, or that one's turning, or whatever. It's your house, it's your garden. If you want to be specific, then study what's out that time of year. If you want autumn leaves, just look at the list of plants that are only in flower or are only growing in the autumn, if that's what you want. But honestly, don't be dictated to it. Sometimes people don't think, they're just automatically dictated to without realizing, actually I could just put I could put tulips in growing at the same time as the autumn leaves are coming off the tree. Who cares? As I always say, let's not worry, let's just enjoy what we're doing. So yes, so I could make the leaves green, but I don't want to. I want this to be a bit more spectacular in colour. So to get the different colours, I've mixed either 2 different colours together to get a shade. Then to get a lighter shade of that, I've got some white polymer, mix white with it, and it just lightens up the whole shade of what you're using. Then you can mix 2 of those shades together, so there's 4 different colours in altogether. When you're doing that, you just get the polymer clay and you get lumps of it. I had 3 different colours there for these colours I've mixed up, and you just mush them together. I'll show you it there. You can see where I've been mushing it all together, that it's starting to mix. And then what you do, I won't do it on here because I don't need any more at the moment, I don't think anyway, but you get it and you chop it. Use your palette knife and chop it into little bits. Just chop, 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 chop. And then the secret is liquid polymer clay, Fimo liquid. That again, I got online, and there was an offer. I think it was Amazon, but there's an offer on this. This is only a couple of pound, maybe £2 more than the first bottle I bought, which is only 50 mils. I can't remember how much it was now, but I went on again yesterday and looked, because I'm running out of this already. And when I looked at the price that I paid for this on Amazon, they've got this one on a special offer, Amazon's Choice they call them, and this is a 200 ml, and I think it was only £2 dearer, so it wasn't double the price at all. So this was a good buy. But you just take the top off, squirt a small amount of it on, and then just keep chopping. Use the heel of your palette knife, not the end, because as you can see that's very bendy, and when it's solid like this it doesn't flatten it. If you use the heel of the palette knife, you can push it right down and squash it onto the mat there, onto the tile. And I always use that underneath of the palette knife, like so. So when you're mush, take it off. I'm doing it with one hand, but use the back of the palette knife all the time. If you use the top and start lifting it over with the top, it eventually starts to stick to the actual palette knife, and it's hard, because that's at an angle, it's hard to try and scrape it off. You've got to get it to the edge of the table to get the angle right to get it off, like so. So always use the back, squish, more, squish, and I get it to, I used to paint, so I've got it to the, so that's starting to dry. I'll add a bit more, that's better, but I'm getting it to the sort of texture, the sort of oil paint almost, which is just spreadable. Just mix it until it's spreadable. So let's get these bits out of the way. Now for the maples, we have the vein of the maple, which is the inside bit, and then we have the outside, like the full-size leaf, so that would go inside to produce the whole leaf when it's finished. So we're doing just the little vein parts at the moment, so I'll leave this one up here. When you lay these down, you can actually bake these on a white ceramic tile, or a matte coloured ceramic tile. It doesn't have to be white, but if it's matte, then it doesn't make the leaves so shiny. Or you can do it on a terracotta tile, depending on what you can get hold of, really. So put it on here so you can see the writing at the bottom there. It says maple leaf. Don't have the back of it, like the wrong way around. So where I can see it written, maple leaf, lay it on, and again, common sense, I would say, but you're putting it the furthest away from you so that you can do that one, and then when you move, you're not touching that to do the next one, and then the next one. If you start down here and you work up, when you get to the top, you're rubbing all the work that you've already done, and it will just smudge. It's very soft and very soft and slimy, really. So I would go up to the top corner there. I think I can get 3 along here, then 4 rows. I won't do the whole lot. I'll just we'll just skip that. What I will do, actually, this is just soft enough. What I will do is just scrape a bit off. I'm using the shade of brown that I mixed first of all, because the veins of the leaves, I want them darker than the actual leaf. When you look at maple leaves, so you're just putting it onto the base of the where your fingers are, and then just carefully slide up. And I would be careful with these, because the first time I tried the hosta leaves, I've made different hostas. I haven't put them together yet, but when I do, you'll see what we've done. When I did those, first of all, the veins on the hosta leaves are so fragile that the large size hosta, by the time I'd done one of these plates, I'd pulled out half the veins on them, and I'll have to reorder and buy more. So they are quite, that's one thing I will say, they're quite fragile, that's the word. So just scrape it on. If you don't have to do it a lot of times, then that's better. What I will do to get that off now, you can peel it from either end, I suppose, but what I'm using is a scalpel where I'm just putting it in one corner and letting it go on the worktop, and it just lifts up the corner. Sorry, that's not completely in camera, maybe. Hopefully you can see. And then I just get my finger and just lift it up like so, away. And then I will show you this before I bake it, but you won't be able to see it because it's brown on brown, really. So there's probably enough on there to do this next one. You don't have to cover loads of it because you'll get a mess everywhere. Well, I would imagine lots of it would produce lots of mess. And then put that in to lift the corner and lift it up. And then the next one, I'll just do this row and then show you what it does. You'll also see, I should have said on these, let's lift that up. You'll also see, if I hold this up, hopefully you'll see there's little square holes strategically placed. When you put the next one on top, it has the same pattern of holes. So when you put this down, you can line up the little squares, and then your leaves are lined up completely. But after I did a few, you sort of just can do it by eye. Well, I could, and I'm sure lots of other people do as well. So if I just show you this, which you can't really see, but maybe it'll catch the light and you'll be able to see. Maybe there, there we are. You can just see the little patterns of the veins. Well, I've got little lines of it where it's come off the edge of the stencil there. I'm not going to bother trying to scrape that off because I'm bound to just touch these tiny bits here and it will just mess them up. So if it's just tiny amounts like that, when you bake it, they just scrape off and just come off whole. They don't stick anymore. So I'm going to do rows of those. I'll probably get 4 rows of 3 on these, and I'm going to do 2 of these tiles because I do want quite a lot of leaves on my up on the roof garden. I want maple leaves. So I'll carry on with that. When I've done that, the veins, I'm then going to bake it. So I'll bake them, let them cool down. Obviously that's going to be very hot when it comes out the oven. I'll let them cool down and then I'll bring them back to the workshop, and then we'll show you the second part of the stencil. But most of these plants and flowers, most of them you do the first stencil first, whichever order it tells you to do it in, and you bake that. You don't bake them for the full length of time, so I'm baking that for 20 minutes. These did tiny little bits. It's just to make them firm enough that they won't go smeary. If you're doing certain plants where the colours can blend, you can do one lot, then put the next stencil on and do the next lot quickly, and then they smear slightly, and that just gives a sort of organic look to it. But some of these plants and things aren't like that. The leaves aren't like that in real life, so I'm going to bake these first, and then we'll do the second layer. So I'll go and put the kettle on, finish these, put them in the oven and come back. Yay! Right, now these are just lukewarm now, so they're okay to put on here. They take a while to cool down. So both of these have been in the oven at 120 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes, just 20 minutes. It just makes them hard enough that they won't smear when you put the next layer on, so they don't have to be on the full time. Again, I don't know, you can see them a bit better now they've been baked. I'll show you, but you can just see the little tiny thin lines for the veins. Okay, so these little smudges in between, now they're baked as well. They are, when it's wet, it's much harder to scrape off. It's not very good. Now I'm going to be very careful but I have a new blade for they're to put in thingy knives. I can't remember the name. I'll put it up on the screen now I've said it, but I'm going to use it by hand and not put it in the actual tool itself. And before I'm not scraping these off, all I'm doing is just going to lift up some of the smudged bits in between, and you're just laying this down just at an angle, not upright, just at a low angle. And what I do is a slight sort of slicing action, and it just gets under whatever it is and lifts it off. So if I just, and I'm taking these bits off because they are raised up, so when I put the next stencil on, the second stencil, it's being lifted up because it's not flat, it can't lie flat. So I just go like that, and that just lifts it up. I'll do a bit on this side. There we are, it's coming up in, you can just sort of take it and just sort of blow off the tile. Oops. Have to be careful because it is a, like so. Right, okay, so the second stencil, and I can read it, maple leaf, so it's up the right way. And then you can either use the little squares, you can see the little squares where it's come out, so I can lay them on those squares, or you can look at the leaf itself and you know, you can see where you line it up. Really, it's hard to explain, but you know what I mean. So if I lay that on like so, I'm starting at the top again, so I know with the little square bits that's in place, so and I'm holding it down so it's nice and even there. Now I'm going to use a mix of the orange. Actually, what I will do is just soften them up a little bit because they're starting to go hard. All you need to do is just add a bit more of this, just squeeze it on, and then use the palette knife and mix it in, and it's back to being soft again, like so. Again, that's just trial and error, how much you put on and how smudgy it goes. And again, I'm using the underneath of the palette knife, not the top, because it's harder then to get it off. You can't get it off the palette so easily if you do it on the top. There we are, that's that one. And this one, you can scrape it all up like so, and then I can use a combination. I can use one colour or the other. I can do a bit in between. It's your own interpretation of leaves. You, I mean, you can do some that are just one colour, or you can mix a tiny bit of something else in, just so it sort of looks as if the leaves are changing colour and they haven't done it completely. Well, that's the effect that I want anyway. You can do them how you want. Okay, I will carry on doing this and then show you them finished, or after they're baked they'll be the same colour, and we will take them off and I will show you the leaves. This whole thing, making them with stencils and the liquid polymer clay, they obviously, as you can imagine, they do take much longer than using bits of masking tape with a bit of wire in, which does look good, looks very good, or the aluminium or aluminum, they look good as well painted, but they all these other methods are very quick compared to this. It's all time and baking and waiting for this to cool down, and then putting the wires on, blah blah blah. The leaves, these leaves, I might not put wires on the leaves because I'm going to hopefully put those onto a bush or even a tree. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'll make it up as we go along. and we shall see. Actually, I wiped up a bit of the stuff there because it was quite thick, and I shouldn't have really, because the thicker the thicker these bits are that are left, the easier they are to get off when they're baked. If you wipe them with your finger, it flattens it to the tile, and then that's hard to scrape off afterwards. So I just did that, and I had learnt actually that I shouldn't really bother doing that. It's harder to get off. So I'll carry on and then come back to me, and it's getting dark, as you can see, that with all this time it takes, but at the end of the day I will show you some finished leaves. Right, now I've had the terracotta tiles in the oven. They've had the final stencil, the main leaf, on top of the veins, so it's had a full half hour in the oven, so it's baked to the right length of time. It's not hot, but the terracotta tile is just nice and cozy, it's nice and warm. I have learnt fairly quickly that it's harder to take, it's not impossible at all, but it's just harder to take the items off if you let the tile go completely cool. So it's just another little thing I've learned. Got my blade. I'm going to be very, very careful with it and concentrate. But let me just move this down for you. Move it in. Hopefully that's okay for you. And then, as I say, all I do, that's where the little bits that were left, like the streaks there, as I say, they come off easily now. But all I do is just slice it, little slicing motion, and I can go straight down each stencil. There we are, and lift the leaves off like so. And it's not until you turn them over to the underside that's when you see the pattern come through. These are too small, I think. Well, they will be too small to hold up to the camera to show you properly, but what I will do is I'll lay some down on some white paper towel, the ones that I've done, and I'll just zoom the camera then and you'll get a really good view of them then. So again, just slice in, and the good thing is, because I want the leaves sort of realistic looking, then if any bits break off or the leaves tear, which they don't seem to, they all seem to come off fairly solid really, even though they're so thin, but if any of them do, or you accidentally rip a leaf, that could still go on the tree, because that's what you find in on trees. Like, you know, sometimes the leaves are eaten away or starting to be eaten away by little critters, or insects, maybe that's a better word. Little critters. But yes, so just keep slicing like so, and then okay, there's too many to turn over the right way, but you'll get an idea. I don't know how well this will show up on video, but hopefully you'll get an idea. And some of the edges need trimming. You can, like, tiny bits here, you can just hold the leaf and just pull it, and the thinnest pieces will just fall off, just come off. But it just shows you the really quite pleased with them. Autumn leaves. Now I've made, as I said, I made some fern leaves. I'll hold it up, but you probably won't be able to see it properly on the screen. But green and starting to go brown in different areas. So each leaf is unique, the way it's made. No two leaves are alike, are the same, which is what I want, to make it look as real looking as possible. And all I'm doing is building the ferns up, and then I'll add bits of greenery and let me grab some these kind of little bits, clumps and things that you get of little shrubs and things, and then I can just break little bits up. I will get the PVA to put these in, but I'll glue them and then just sort of push them in amongst the plants and just build it up gradually as we go along. So that's going to be quite a long process. I'll probably spend the day at least just arranging these and putting in the plants that I want, and how we're going to view them from the front, like where they're placed in the on the roof terrace itself, or the roof garden it will be when done. So I shall okay, so I was just going to carry on and then show you what I'd done so far, but as this all goes or grows organically in my head along with the plants themselves, I decided, as I was building up the main plants, I decided I wanted an arum lily plant in there. So it had the white arum lily flowers. I thought would just make it pop a bit more. So I had some arum lily flowers, and then I wanted to do the leaves. So I've decided to, I'll show you the side I haven't painted. I'm using the heavy duty industrial aluminium foil. And oh, hang on, I think that's Nigel waiting to go out. Yes, Nigel wanted to go out. He was sleeping in here, and he just woke up. So yes, so I thought I would make the leaves instead of out of polymer clay, because I don't have stencils for arum lily leaves. I thought I would make them out of this metal. Also, I suppose you can, as we've said, you can make leaves with what do you call it, masking tape with the wires inside, and then just cut out the shape. But I looked at arum lily leaves on the internet, and there are quite a few different combinations. There's not just one set leaf, because of the different lilies you can get. They're not the different species of them. They're all slightly different. And that was great, but I also found some photos of our garden when the arum lilies were out, because we have quite a lot of them in the garden. And the ones that we have in our garden, I looked at the photo and I've cut out the shape of the leaf, and looked at the markings on them, and saw them, and the edge of the leaves are sort of wavy, coming up to the point. They're not just flat leaves like cheese plant leaves, they're just flat with bits cut out, but these ones were wavy at the edges, and you wouldn't be able to do that with masking tape, because that wouldn't wave along the edge. But I thought maybe once these are dry, I can try making the edges slightly wavy, and that will add even more texture to them and a bit more something visual to look at. I have to stop breathing for this moment. Okay, and breathe. So it's just to give an indication of marks on leaves, and as I said, then when they're dry, we'll try making them wavy. I have an idea how to get them sort of an evenish wave. I don't know yet if we will see if that happens or not, but you will go through the journey with me, my lovelies, so you will see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, I've put a layer of Mod Podge on the leaves, just to give them a slight shine when they catch the light, as do the real leaves out in the garden. And now in my head this is going to work. let us see together if it does. To make the edges frilly, let me, this might help you. You might be saying, ah, that's better. Although, I've got to have the camera on this side. I can't have it on the table on this side because I'm moving it. And at the moment, the camera is on a separate piece of shelving on the side here. So it'll have to be that side, I'm afraid. So you might not be able to see this properly. But all I'm going to do is put cocktail sticks in along the edge. I don't know whether to use the thin end or the thick end. Let's try the thin end first and see what happens. But if I maybe not, let's see. Like I say, I don't really know. In my head this is working. Let's see if it works in real life. Push that in like so. And of course, now I'm realising this is going to take a long time to produce these leaves. Right, I've laid one over, one under, one over, one under, blah, blah, blah. And then, if I can, there we are, stop them from moving, and then push down, like so, take them out. Yeah, oh yes. Hang on, sorry. Ah, there you are. You can see quite easily the this side. Oops, this side. The edge is quite. It's got movement in it, and the other side is just flat. So I will. I will spend however long it takes to do each leaf. I can't think of a quicker way, and I don't think I wouldn't be able to do. This is just going to crease it if I try and bend it physically. It's not going to wave it slightly. So I'm just going to get on with it and do each leaf, each side of each leaf, until I have the desired effect. I'll do one more on camera. Take that out. Oops. Yay. So there we are. You can see it in the light now. Slightly wavy along the edges. Excellent. Right, so times that by however many leaves I've got and we will come back to you. Okay, folks. It's very small, there's not much of it at the moment, but it has taken days and hours to make these stencils separately, all in different stages, to bake them, cook them, make leaves in metal, making the leaves wavy. Took probably an hour just to do that after I'd made the leaves. But hopefully it looks okay. Once they're all up in the works in the Art Deco house, which is that side of me, then I'll show you them all made up and ready for the owners to enjoy them. So I also have the rectangular one at the back to build up. so I'll just do that on I'll do that separately so it's ready when I start my next video. But what I will do in the next video is this little corner piece that fits in, so that where you see the silver, that's the bit that shows. So I'm going to put a little something in there, and it's going to involve this and this. Sorry, this and whatever's in this box, plus some clay as well. So again, I have no idea. I've never done it before, but I'm going to try and attempt something different again, plant associated. Yes, so watch this space. Who knows if it's going to work? Who cares? As long as we enjoy watching, and as long as I enjoy making and don't drive myself insane in the process. Lovely to speak to you again, my lovelies. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, I keep forgetting to ask, please hype it if you can. If you've got a hype available. I know you only get 3 hypes a day or a week, I can't remember now. But if you feel that you'd like to hype this video, then I would be extremely grateful. Or at least give it a like, or if you've only just found me, subscribe. That would be absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. Speak to you again very soon. Oh, and also I put a link on my, if you click on the channel, there's a more button and it gives you 2 links. And one of them is a PayPal link. If you wanted to, as they say, buy me a coffee, or a little donation just to say thank you, that you appreciate my videos, then I would be extremely grateful, because this at the moment is what I am living on. And believe me, I am living on the edge right now. Oh, here comes JB. Take care, everybody. Speak to you again soon. Bye.